everybody, my name's Steve Cullen, probably aware of that, I do this every month. Here's another Deadly Killers. This month we're going to be looking at tying the Peeping Caddis, an essential river pattern for this time of year. November through to January, February, March, what a fantastic fly this can be. It tends to come into its own at these months because everything else that's on the riverbed tends to be a bit scarce. So let's go ahead and tie the fly. First thing I'm going to start doing is to run on a bed of tying thread, starting behind the eye, working my way down the hook shank, quite loose turn, doesn't have to be touching at this stage, somewhere opposite the point of the hook. Trim the thread, and the big open turns come back up the hook shank. Stopping just behind the eye, 2 or 3 mil behind the eye. What I'm going to do now is take my lead shot. This is a non-toxic lead shot, and I'm going to attach that to a quite thick nylon. There you go, that's attached to there. And what I tend to do is I take the end with the cut so it's facing over the eye. That bit's not going to come off. Pinch and loop and loose wrap, a couple of thread wraps on there, quite loose. And then back up. And what I'll do here is, just behind the BB shot, some nice firm thread wraps there. But what I want to do is I want to leave myself enough space so that I can actually bring my thread in front of the BB shot to whip finish just behind the eye. So, a few more thread wraps. A sharp pair of scissors, I'm going to snip this off at an angle. And I'll build up a little taper here, tapering up to the nylon itself. My next stage, you can add this, you don't have to add this, but you can. I tend to use it just in case I'm fishing really heavy water. I'll tie them with, I'll tie them without lead. I've got some medium lead wire here, sorry, thick lead wire here. I want to take about 5 inches. Take my thread, backing out the way, set it out of the way of the lead wire. I'm going to wind this on, touch and turns, up the hook shank. I'm going to stop just a little way behind the shot. I'll leave myself enough space so I can finish my fly. Just snip that off there, with your fingers. What you can do is, with your scissors, smooth it off. The same at this end. Snip it, smooth it off. As you can see, we've got quite a pronounced bump here. So, again, with my tying thread, you can also build this up with the dubbing material. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a taper again here. Coming up onto the lead wire. The next stage is to take some, in this case I've got peach wool. You can use white, white's the original one. Peach is a really good colour though. Peach and green can be great colours. Stall the bushes light out. I'm just going to burn the ends of that. So you've got a blackened stub. Just like that. See that there? Let that cool down. Should be okay. So it's not tacky. And then have it so you've probably got 1/4 inch behind the bend of the hook. By the time we get our hackles on there, that should be about right. About there. Tie it down, secure it with thread wraps. Make sure she's straight, which it is. And again, we can use this little bit of tuft here on the tag end. That helps us with the taper, where it tapers from the end of the body to the lead. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a brown partridge feather, fibres off the stem, so I've got something to work with. I'm now going to take a hackle pliers, and I'm going to catch this by the tips, just be the tips right in the centre, and I'll stroke the fibres back so that I'm left with this. This is the tips I'm going to catch in. Now what I'm going to do, because these feather fibres are quite long, I don't want them covering and obscuring this, so I'm going to tie it a little further along the body than I would normally, and then with thread wraps I'll create the actual hackle to represent the legs. Now that looks quite messy just now, but by the time we wrap it, trice round the hook shanks enough and secure. Now normally I would use a feather. It's a lot less, it hasn't got as much length in the hackle. So what I've done is, to compensate that, I've tied it in further along the hook shank. And what we can do with our thread wraps and with our fingertips, just pull the feather fibres back, take your time, get it right. Any stray feathers, make sure they're going the right way. Now the tricky and messy bit is the hare's ear fur. And what I tend to do is take the fur for the base of the hare's ear. You can see how I've taken it out in there. What I'm going to do is start dubbing this onto the thread. Quite a tight dubbing rope. There's quite a few little spiky hairs in there, which is what we want, what we're after. We want to make sure that we cover the body properly. It's nice and even. Starting at the back, like so, work our way up the body, tight wraps. We're now going to finish it off in front of the bead. I'll just put the bead up a little bit higher, so come in nice and tight with it, the tube of your bobbin right next to the bead, right in there. Take your whip finishing tool and whip finish a good few times. Pair of scissors and snip them. A little touch of varnish in here, just at the eye, on the thread, for a little added security, underneath the hook shank there, where the actual whip finish is taking place. And what I do is, for a more robust pattern, I mean this is great, this will fish just fine the way it is, but what I tend to do is use some Helly Hansen hard as nails. What people say, Steve, what are you doing? But just a couple of dabs of that either side, and then what I do is just with a clean hand take these fibres and I just rub that in. You can still see all the guard hairs, spiky feathers, spiky fur stuck out there, but once this dries it'll be a more solid, durable pattern. There you go folks, Peeping Caddis. Simple to tie, change the wool for white or green, and you'll do great guns. Simple to tie, easy enough to tie anyway, great fun in running water. Peeping Caddis. I'll see you the next time on Deadly Killers, folks.